excited to introduce you to our guest. This is Mrs. Woolley, and also known as Lauren, and she is going to tell us her amazing teaching journey. So Lauren, welcome to our program.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, first of all, as what we always ask here at Poshteacher is, what was your aha moment that you decided to become a teacher?
So I get asked this a lot, actually, why I decided to become a teacher, and it all kind of boils down to like my senior year of high school. I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. Like I was back and forth between a bunch of different things, and I was actually I wanted to go to law school to become a lawyer, and then I was like toying with the idea of teaching, and then I was like, oh, I can do educational law, and then I kind of was, it was like January and I needed to make up my mind and I couldn't decide. So my counselor ended up telling me to go and job shadow my kindergarten teacher. And I did that and I just fell in love with it. It was just like so fun. And she just looked like she really enjoyed what she was doing. And I just kind of realized that I wanted a job that wouldn't be the same every single day and that would challenge me, but wouldn't feel like work. Like I know obviously it's work, it does feel like work, but like that wouldn't feel like I was going to work every day. So I guess that's kind of where the decision turned to, okay, education is where I need to be. But I also just had like really good relationships with my own teachers growing up, and I definitely think that impacted my decision because I had so many great role models to go off of. So, that kind of stuck with me even today, that like, I could be somebody's reason why they decide to be a teacher or reason why they decide to be, whatever. So that was kind of my aha moment.
Yeah, definitely a powerful field. We don't realize how much power it has.
Yeah.
So why did you decide fifth grade? Was it by choice or just you kind of fell into it?
So I actually started out teaching second grade for 3 years, and I loved second grade, but my second year teaching, I was teaching at a huge inner city district, and one of the teachers in an upper grade level had quit in the middle of the year, and I was the only one that was licensed to teach up to fifth grade. So they moved me into fifth grade for like the second half of the year. And that was like traumatic in and of itself because like I got taken away from my class and then they all got split up and I had to like take over a class that wasn't mine. So it was just this whole big thing. Well, I was terrified and I was like, I can't teach fifth grade. Like, there's no way I'm going to teach this grade level. Like, it's too much. Like, they're big kids. I can't teach them. And
Big kids.
big kids. And so then after that half of the year was over, I went back to second grade for my third year. And then I decided that that school environment was not the best for me and I needed to get a job somewhere else. And there was a school district closer to home that was that had a fifth grade position open. And at first I was like, you know what, I don't want to be back in fifth grade, but I'm desperate. So I got the job and I took it, and last year like was a learning curve like with some things, but I just kind of fell in love with it because all the kids are way different than like younger elementary, and they're more self-sufficient and I can be sarcastic and they get my jokes, and I just like I feel like I could be more myself because like I'm very like I don't know how I would describe myself. I'm very sarcastic, and so like my humor comes off all day long, like when I'm teaching. So
Oh, it's so fun.
right. So I'm like when I was in my younger grade levels, like okay, like I have a second grader in the middle of class just be like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" I'd be like, "No," and they're like,
Oh.
but like my fifth graders are like, "Okay," and then they go. like they know I'm kidding, but like the littler kids didn't get it. So it was like it fit. So
Yes.
It was a happy accident.
So you're in a good fit, fifth grade, and so right now you've been teaching fifth grade for how long? Has it been a few years?
This is my second full year, and then I had that like half a year. So 2.5 years fifth grade, and then I taught 2.5 years second grade, apparently. Yeah. So it's
So right now with, how our teaching world has been rocked and shaken up, how have you, well, are there any challenges that you've experienced this year? And, how have you worked through them? If there have been any, or have you been pretty okay for you?
oh yeah, there have been challenges.
Yeah.
um, so one of the major challenges was obviously remote learning. Like it wasn't a challenge for me to adapt and teach remote learning, but it was a challenge keeping my students on track because at least in the district I teach in, if they're not at school, their mind is so far away from learning and school and all that. So it was really hard to like send assignments and then expect them to be back on time and things like that. And so, I mean, I'm usually pretty good with like grace periods and whatnot. Like, I'm not like a stickler on that because like you're 10. So, so that was okay. But like sometimes like I'd have students that would just fall off the face of the earth for like a couple days, and I'd be like, "You okay? Like, where are you?" So, um, and then the other difficult part was like students that are in school, whenever someone would have to quarantine, they'd be out for 2 weeks. And
Oof.
so when I was still doing like I was doing hybrid, so like I was teaching remote and in person, and it was easier then because I just had like a document that they could go to find all their assignments, and they could do them from home. But now, because we have 95% of our students back in school, I don't teach the remote kids anymore. I'm just in person. So
Okay.
when my in-person kids are quarantined for 2 weeks or whatever, there's no assignments online for them. So like I kind of have to like try to get them back on track, and it's hard.
Oh my
So
gosh. It's like two different worlds like you've got to work
it
with.
really is. It is. But other than that, I feel like as far as like technology, like I'm pretty okay with technology. So like that wasn't very hard.
We know you are. We're going to talk about it.
Well, social media,
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I guess I'm okay in the tech world. Like there are definitely people that are way more technologically literate than I am, but I mean, I survived, so I'm good.
Okay. Well, tell me about Corner Jim. You I'm dying to hear the story about Corner Jim. So tell everyone, who is Corner Jim and what does he do and everything.
So, Corner Gym got started last summer when I like started getting a little bit bigger on TikTok. Someone, I have no idea who it was, but somebody put in the comments that there was a rat in the corner of my classroom that would give kids the answers on tests. So I don't know where it came from, but I kind of just like ran with it. And
Oh
so I ended
wow.
up like getting this little stuffed rat, and I had like a naming contest where like people would put names in the comments, and then we had our dog like do the little treat thing where like they see which one he goes to first, and that was how he got named Corner Jim. So every day now he's in my classroom, and I move him every morning, and the kids like come in and try to find him. And um, sometimes I'll have him doing like crazy stuff, kind of like it's almost like Elf on the Shelf,
Okay.
but yeah, so Corner Jim just gets like hidden every day, and then they try to find him, and
He's a
it's just
big hit.
kind of taken on a mind of its own.
Well, so let's talk about, you're doing something as part of your teaching experience, which is TikTok. Did that start as it's part of your teaching kind of lesson plan, or were you on TikTok prior to bringing it into the classroom?
um Kind of a little of both. So last year, right before COVID hit and everyone got shut down, I had a challenging student that I could not like get through to. It didn't matter what I did. He just like he was okay in my class. It was like other people's classes, he just like would fall off the wagon. So
Mhm.
I found out that he had like all these followers on TikTok, and I think he had like 8,000 or something at that time. And he would brag about it. So I like bet him that I could get more followers than he could by the end of the school year.
Oh my
And
God.
then when we got shut down, I started like really making videos a lot of the time. And like he kept coming to our Google Meets, and he would check in to see like where he was at and where I was at, and see who was in the lead. And then at the end of the year, I ended up having like, I think I had like 16,000 at that point.
Wow.
And I think he had like 10 or something like that. Um, so it started like that, but then I just kept making videos over the course of the summer because it was fun for me to see other students that would like comment on my videos. And um, I would do like teacher comedy videos, and they would all, comment and say, "Oh, well, I wish you were my teacher," or "You seem so fun." And I'm like, "Yes, like I'm cool now." Like,
You got the
so,
cool badge. Yeah.
right. So, yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then I just kind of continued it through the year. And it's now become pretty much a part of my classroom. And my kids know I have TikTok. They always want to watch the TikToks at the end of the day and stuff. And they always beg me to like be in videos, but I'm not. I just, because I have like a larger audience, I don't want to put their faces on the internet.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll let them have their voices in it, but like that's about it. But they like go crazy over it. They love it.
Oh my gosh, I love. And so your inspiration for your videos, where do you get it from? Do you get it from what's going on in the classroom or just in your life? Where's the inspo?
Um, a little bit of both. So most of my videos are like teacher-based comedy. So I'll do like some videos where I'm making fun of like things teachers do because I'm
Yes,
guilty of
I've
the
seen.
videos, like kind of poking fun at things that my students do that I think are funny. And so I do kind of a combo of those things. And then I have like some vlogs that I do just to show like what I do during the day. And then I do day in the life. Oh, that's my day in the life vlogs. And then I do new question alerts where I will pose a question and then people have to put comments, and I'll choose my favorite comments and make a video out of them. So
I
those
thought that
ones
was
get,
genius. I've seen that and I'm like, oh my God,
thank
this
you.
is great. Yes.
I would have never known because like it all stemmed again from a comment someone left on a
Yes.
video. It was like May, and I think I made a video saying like, well, what do I do now? Because like I made all this like teacher comedy, and now it's summer. I was like, oh, I don't know what to do now. And they were like, what do teachers do in the summer? And so I was like,
Oh my
I
gosh.
want to know. Like, what do you think teachers do in the summer? And I made it like wrong answers only, so people would put like ridiculous comments,
Oh
and
my
they
God, I love it.
were hilarious. People were putting things like, oh, they use their great salaries to go to five-star hotels and like all kinds of sarcastic things. And I'm like, okay, this is right up my alley. So
Yes.
I just kept them going, and they just keep, I mean, people like those. So I just keep doing them.
Well, and it's a great match. Like you said, you have sarcastic comedy, personality. This is perfect. Actually, have you had acting classes before? Or, I mean, do you have a little bit of that
Yeah, a little bit. Not so much classes, but I was on my high school speech and debate team for all 4 years of high school. And I competed in an event called so I was in an event called Prose and Poetry, which is basically a combination of poems, song lyrics, and short story pieces, all based around the same theme. And it's typically like more of an acting category.
Okay.
So I actually was a state finalist in
Ooh.
speech, and now I coach speech.
Oh
So
my
I've been
gosh.
coaching for like almost 10 years now. And I just, yeah, I mean, I grew up with that. And then I was in drama club a little bit, but more so it was like speech that took over. So that's where I think I get that from.
Oh, definitely. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So now that you've gone into the TikTok world, what is your audience, mostly students and teachers, or what's your audience base?
I would say the majority of my audience is students and like, either upper elementary or high school students. But there's definitely a nice percentage of teachers in there. And I know there are some parents that follow me. Um, at least from what I've heard, like parents at my own school watch my videos and stuff with their kids. So um, yeah, I would say it's majority children though. So that's why I'm always really careful what I post. I'm not, um, I want to be a positive role model, and I want to add something to social media that, is still cool and funny, but not like, inappropriate. So I don't use any like inappropriate sounds or like bad words or anything like that, or concepts that I think are like not okay for school.
Beyond the PG.
Yeah, the PG.
Well, then tell me about the teacher hype house. Can you tell us about that? What's all that about?
Yeah, so last summer, it was like around July, a couple of my TikTok friends and I decided to actually meet in real life. So we, most of them are from like the West Coast, and then there was a few of us from East Coast. So we all met up in San Francisco and got like an Airbnb together and just spent, like 5 days together, and just made videos and stuff. And we formed the Teacher Hype House, which is kind of a play off of like the actual Hype House on TikTok with like all the biggest TikTokers on there.
Oh,
But it's kind of just like a collection of teacher friends that got together and decided to like form a little group and make videos together and travel together. And we actually just got back from Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, where we did, a few of us were in a charity event to raise money for children fighting cancer.
wow.
And so we did that. And then we also did a couple of meetups where we had like actual, I guess, I don't even want to say fans, but like, I
Oh,
guess fans come to like
oh,
say hi to us and stuff. And it,
oh,
it
the
was
pictures of Mrs. Woolley. Yeah.
it's crazy. Like I don't see myself in that way. So when people are like excited to come and meet me, it's like, oh hey, yeah, like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just
you're so great. You're adorable. Like, yeah, I could tell. I mean, yeah, the t-shirt with Mrs. Woolley. Although you have, right, some branding, some stuff with your brand, right?
I do. I'm very fortunate because my husband is actually a marketing specialist.
Oh,
So
perfect.
he does graphic design, videography, photography, all that for a living. So
Wow.
any of my like YouTube videos, he edits all of them. Any photos that I like get professionally done, like he does all the editing. He designed all of my merchandise, like t-shirts and all that, like the corner gym logos and all that, designed everything.
Wow.
So, I mean, honestly, like I would not have had all of that stuff if it wasn't for him. So,
It's a great match. Then you guys work well together. You mesh well together with what you're
yes, we
doing.
do. And he's really good with finance. So like he's good
Oh,
on that aspect. Where
that
I'm like,
helps. Yeah.
yeah, I don't like I don't know what to do with this. Help me.
So where do you want to take this? Do you want, what's your plans with your TikTok?
Um, I mean, I have like a couple different like ideas of what I would like to do. It all depends on like, whatever happens, happens. I'm very much like, you know, everything happens for a reason. So,
Yes, I agree.
um, I if I'm going two different routes, so if I stay in like education,
Mhm.
I would like to start doing more speaking engagements.
Great, great.
Like I'm friends with Gary Brooks. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's like a famous principal. He does like speaking engagements and makes funny videos on Facebook and stuff. Um, but I want to start getting into more of those. I did one at the beginning of April, and it was like my first one ever. So I was like really nervous,
Oh,
but
how fun.
it was really fun, and I got to tell other teachers about TikTok and like how it helps me as a teacher and stuff.
Wonderful.
Um, so that's one route. And then if I don't stay in education, which I don't know that that would ever even happen, um, I would like to get into more of like acting and like comedy and things like that.
Oh my
So those
God, how
are
fun.
like the best of both worlds if I could have those two things. But
Teacher stand-up comedy. Oh my gosh, you would be so good. Yes.
I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm very funny, but like,
No, you do. And you just have like this, energy about you that you're just like mesmerized. So no, keep it going. I'll go to your shows.
okay,
I'm a front row. So
cool. I'll get you VIP access.
please. And my t-shirt with corner gym on it. I'm all
Oh
good.
my gosh.
But no, so that's exciting. I mean, really, yes. So I was gonna ask you, all students are like, they think we're just teachers all the time, right? But do you have another life? I mean, besides teaching, or is that
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what I try to show on my TikTok is that, your teachers are teachers, but they're real people. And, we don't just live at the school. Like,
that's-
yeah. So, yeah, I'm really big into music. So like my husband and I, we go to a lot of concerts. He used to be in a band that traveled. So we would go to his shows a lot. And, we do a lot of, like, I don't know, I'm not very outdoorsy when it comes to like camping stuff, but like I like to go on hikes and stuff. Um, and then like obviously speech is a huge part of my life that I coach high school students in that. And then every Saturday we have tournaments from like November to March. So
wow,
I'm up
it's a
at like
long
6
season.
a.m. Yeah, to get to school.
Yes.
So that's a big thing. And then, just hanging out with my dog and my family and stuff.
Well, Lauren, we want to know what your personal motivational quote is. What are your
I
words
had
of
to,
wisdom?
I had to pull it up because I was like, oh, that's a good question that I'm not gonna know on the
Come
spot.
on, teach.
I know, but it's actually a quote by C.S. Lewis, and
Oh,
it is, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." And the reason that one is motivational to me is because of where I came from in education. My first 3 years, like I said, were in an inner city school, which I think, anyone who teaches in districts with students from trauma and things like that, I applaud. I applaud them so much because it is tough, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much you have to be able to take, because it's a lot to take on mentally and emotionally. And it was really weighing heavy on me those 3 years. And I just felt like I couldn't do enough to help my students. And it kind of made me feel like a failure as
wow.
a teacher. And after my third year teaching there, I realized I needed to, either find somewhere else to teach, or I was leaving education because I wasn't cut out for it.
Wow.
And actually that summer before I got the job I have now, I was in the process of becoming an officer in the Air Force. And
Whoa, what a change.
I know. And
Oh,
so I was going through that process, and I was getting ready to take like my AFOQT tests and all
wow.
that stuff. And then I saw this job open up, and I was like, what the heck? I'll just apply for it. And, if it happens, cool. If not, then Air Force it is.
Wow.
And I ended up getting the job and decided to give it one more chance. And so, I mean, I really would have, none of this would have happened. I would have never, been a TikTok teacher, would have never continued in education had it not been like me giving it one more chance. And just, I can't go back and change where I started, but I can make a difference now, and I can change where I'm at now and fix it. And I feel like the way I teach and like my classroom environment has evolved so much over the past 5 years that I probably would not even recognize myself as a teacher my first year versus
Wow.
now. And I think, I'm not afraid of being transparent about that, because I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people, especially new teachers, get to hear that very often. They all look at the veteran teachers who have been
Yes.
exceeding expectations for years, and we feel like we have something to prove.
Yes.
And feel like we're not going to be good enough. And so, it's okay to kind of struggle for a couple of years, and it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to not be proud of your first year teacher self, a couple of years down the line, because you learn and you grow and you change as a professional and as a teacher every single day. And I I just really relate to that quote for that reason, because it just kind of encompasses what I experienced as a new teacher. So that's why I chose that one. Long story short.
It's a great story, and it's so, so strong. I
Thank you.
absolutely love it. No, I think that this is what teachers need to hear. Completely. And you know what? When you said like a lot of them are like, oh, I have to be like those veteran teachers, I think it's our own personal journey,
Hmm.
and like you said, our personal growth, and not like looking over our shoulder. And I think that puts so much stress that teachers don't need. And then they lose sight of who they are, I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
I definitely did, because when I started, there was one veteran teacher, and all three of us were new teachers in
Wow.
our second
Wow.
grade. Right. So we were all learning together, but I think it was more so my personality. Like, I am very type A. I like to have everything organized and everything ready to go ahead of time. I'm not like a fly by the seat of my pants person. And I'm very much perfectionist. So I was very hard on myself, and I would be like
Wow.
at school until like 8, 9 o'clock at night, every single night, just working on stuff and trying to get stuff done, because I felt like I had to be perfect.
Oh my gosh,
So
it's
it's like,
awful.
I know. And I'm like, I
No.
look at myself back then and I'm like, don't be stupid, go
Yeah,
home.
yeah, really?
But that was my journey. I had to learn that the hard way, and I had to, get knocked down a few pegs before I
Wow.
realized that, like, I don't have to be perfect all the time, and I don't have to be this, like, I don't know why, like, maybe it was just because I was young.
Yeah.
But I also thought like I had to be super strict and like professional all the time, and I couldn't have fun with my kids because they wouldn't respect me.
I
So
know.
like,
Yes.
I look at myself now and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like,
Be me, be you, be me, you gotta be
right,
you.
right.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
don't know. I think everybody goes through that. At least I would hope so. So I'm not the only one, but
You
like,
are not. And sometimes even administration, it depends what kind of administration you have, that can like mess with with you and your teaching. So
mhm,
there's a lot of pressures. Yeah, I agree.
yes,
No, no, I'm so glad you are you. Yes, and and it's yeah, but you're right. A lot of teachers struggle with that, especially in the beginning, until they get a little
mhm,
more confident. Well, I absolutely loved your quote, and I like what I like more is behind with the meaning and why you chose that. So, thank you for sharing that. That's your personal story. So.
yeah,
Well, I really appreciate you being here, and our goal here of Posh Teacher is really to advocate and celebrate, you guys teachers, because the world needs to know what an amazing profession it is, and I'm glad you stayed with it. I mean, Air
yeah.
Force is awesome, and we love everyone that's in it, but I'm glad these kids have you, and
Thank you.
so, and I hope you have a great rest of the year. I know it's coming to an end soon, so.
Yeah, you
Um,
too.
so, well, thank you so much, Lauren, and we wish you all the best. And I'll, put your info below, and people can check you out. So,
Great. Thank you
all
so
right,
much for having me. It was so
thank
fun.
you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.